Hail YouTube! I am almost at 100,000 subscribers, and I am now proud to offer channel memberships with custom achievement badges and emojis, member-only live streams, and more. So please click the join button, subscribe to my channel to help me hit that 100K milestone, and watch this video to the end, please, for an important announcement. Thank you. In a previous video, I reported a rumor conveyed to me from Multiverse for Lucasfilm. Since that video, I have had yet another source come forward claiming they have no less than 4 friends working on the movie at Lucasfilm, and this source has told me that he or she has heard the same basic story from all of them, who confirmed that these screenings took place. That said, one of my sources sent me a detailed account of one of the screenings, and I'm going to share that account with you today as it was related to me. When I get information like this, I evaluate it as carefully as I can against known facts, other rumors, released trailers, basically anything I can find. Then, in the end, I suppose, I have to go with my gut. Given what I've seen and been told about the rise of Skywalker, I find this account to be at least plausible. It certainly explains a lot of the weirder elements of the latest Rise of Skywalker trailer, and it aligns with what I've heard about the test screenings. But is it true? I've thought about it quite a bit, and while I don't have enough information to determine if this is an accurate account, I decided to just present it to you as I received it, as a rumor that was sent to me without known provenance, and allow you to make up your own mind regarding its plausibility or lack thereof. This account was sent to me the day before I received the information from a second or not this information is accurate, and I make no representations as to its accuracy for that reason. Still, I find the commonalities between these two sources quite intriguing, or just information from Disney itself. I can only tell you this is the information I was given, and so, with the caveat that this account should be treated as a rumor even though it was indirectly validated by a second source on a separate day, and without solicitation, here is the account I received of the screening. Bear in mind, too, if this account is accurate and not a hoax, it would seem to be describing the Iger cut of the film I referenced at the end, which seemed to indicate that this may be some intermediate cut between the Kathleen Kennedy cut and the Iger cut, which would be interesting given the conflicting rumors that as many as a dozen different endings have been tested. Regardless, the finished version of Rise of Skywalker will likely differ from this account in many key respects. This version of the film is a version that you will almost certainly never see, and it makes one hope ported screening was a disaster. At this point, potential spoilers await. Turn back if you want to remain pure. The studio representative at the beginning of the screening, according to my source, informed the test audience that this screening was going to be different from other screenings they may have seen in the past, as this screening wasn't going to be the entire movie. The lights went out, and that's when the audience realized, with some excitement, that they were in a screening of Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. There was no opening crawl. Without fanfare, the screening opened on Rey running in the woods. Luke was talking to her in her head, training her from beyond the grave in the same way Obi-Wan advised him. Luke tells Rey that the Force is all about instinct. This scene goes on for a while, then Leia appears and informs Rey that her training is almost complete, and the time has come for her to face Kylo Ren again. And so Rey, Chewbacca, BB-8, Finn, and Poe, and the rest of the Munchkins, leave to find Kylo Ren. They go to a desert planet looking for him, and presumably this is where the reported scene with Rey injuring, then healing the giant sandworm occurs, though this wasn't a part of the screening. And lo and behold, Kylo Ren appears, since he was looking for Rey as well, so I guess they sensed each other or something, idiotically, without firing. Kylo Ren is purportedly piloting, torn about killing Rey, though I think making her splat on his windshield like the bestest bug ever isn't any less fatal, but probably would make him visit AutoZone or Pep Boys for a new windshield since cracks tend to leak oxygen in space. But never mind logic, this is Abrams after all. As we saw in the trailer, the result of this is Rey jumps. cuts a wing off the TIE fighter with her lightsaber, and sends Kylo crashing in the desert. Kylo emerges without a scratch, because I guess he was wearing a safety belt or had an airbag or something, and so he and Rey fight yet again. During the fight, Kylo Ren stops and says, "Do you feel that?" Rey agrees that she does sense something. Kylo tells her, "I felt that before." Rey says, "So have I. It's the dark side, like Snoke, only stronger." They apparently agree that they must jointly find this new threat because only together can they hope to defeat it. Fade to black. Fade in. We're in a dark room. We see a chair and we hear the familiar laugh of Emperor Palpatine. Then the picture fades out. So now the screening jumps to a water world. There was no indication of the screening, according to my source, of how they arrived there. They simply showed, apparently he's looking for Rey, though it's not clear in the screening what's going on with that. We cut back to the lovebirds of the Force, and apparently there's trouble in paradise. Although it's unclear what triggered the tiff, Rey is saying, "I know there's good in you, let go of the hate," aping what Luke said to Vader in Return of the Jedi. Kylo Ren gets mad. Presumably Kylo is a fan of Return of the Jedi and resents Rey using more recycled dialogue from that classic. I'm not sure, but whatever the reason, Kylo gets mad, fires up the old lightsaber, and so he and Rey start to fight again. Yes, as incredible as it seems, Kylo can't seem to keep it on his pants, so he whips it out and they fight again. And naturally, Rey wipes the floor with Kylo, I mean like really bad. So as she's standing over him ready to strike, Kylo Ren laughs and tells her, "See, the dark side is stronger. Use your hate, strike me down, and your journey to the dark side will be complete." Rey says, "You're wrong, I'll never join the dark side," and at this point, if this account is accurate, it's painfully clear snippets of dialogue from past Star Wars movies in the worst tradition of fan fiction. So Rey turns to leave, says, "I'll find this disturbance without you," and walks his wont. Kylo smashes his helmet, throws away his lightsaber. Funny how Rey has a habit of being associated with scenes symbolically emasculating white males. Luke tosses away his manhood when confronted with Rey, and Kylo tosses away his manhood and it is here that Palpatine lays out his whole plan. He knew Vader would betray him in Return of the Jedi, and so he took precautions. Everything that has Luke saw it. Emperor Palpatine replies, "Did he now?" At this, and my source at this point struggles to convey what he or she saw, describing it as, quote, how to put this, the faces from episode 3, he looked nothing like the Emperor from episode 6. In the screening, Palpatine continues, "What Vader killed was a clone that I was controlling from here, my young foolish Jedi." At this point, out of nowhere, in walks a young Palpatine. Though you only see this clone in profile, so it's hard to tell, my source speculates it might have been Matt Smith, but that's vague. Palpatine says, "Soon I will be in this body," and then laughs. This is funny at all. If this screening account is not a hoax, this is one of the worst parts of the film. So what Abrams is trying to sell us with this clumsy retcon allowed it to happen? Never mind that it was just a clone body. You're telling me that Palpatine didn't have Vader detained or killed when he sensed Vader's coming betrayal? That Palpatine allowed this to happen? Actually allowed his second Death Star to be placed in jeopardy and ultimately destroyed? Why? Then also allow the betrayal and the destruction of the second Death Star. Two yachts, like every yacht on Earth ever, times 1,000,000, maybe 1,000,000,000. If true, this is an absolutely horrible plot point that better not survive to the final release. Some unsolicited advice, Disney. Change this or reap the scorn of millions of fans. So now the screening cuts back fleet with them. How and from where is not explained. Cut back to Kylo Ren, who hilariously has his mask back. He's fixing it for some reason. My source has no idea how he got it. Kylo fixes the mask, puts it on, and leaves wherever it is he is in that scene. Cut back to the Emperor and Rey conversing, and suddenly in comes Kylo Ren. He has his red lightsaber back somehow. I guess Kylo smashes things, but then gets them back without any bother. And I guess if I had that magic power, I'd be smashing stuff all the time. Though that seems to defeat the purpose of smashing stuff. Certainly diminishes the... But I digress. Anyway, enter Kylo Ren with his red lightsaber, and Palpatine says, "Finally, the two halves are before me now when I kill both of you. Rule? With what? All I see is an old man before me." "Is that so?" Palpatine replies. The Emperor pulls out a hologram device. An original trilogy stormtrooper appears, and Palpatine says, "Execute Order 67. This is the point in the trailer. When the Star Destroyers idiotically rise from the icy water, Palpatine smiles at Kylo Ren. "As you can see, I've been busy." Palpatine laughs again. They get ready to fight. Cut back to Finn, Poe, and Rose. They get to the iceberg, seeing the very, very large number of Empire-era ships there. Although how in God's name ships that massive and in such massive numbers could be frozen in ice, manned and maintained, is not explained. Could this movie really be this bad, or is this a hoax? I would be skeptical, except for how this account jibes entirely with the trailer, but apparently Palpatine's fleet is armed with everything except logic. Our very merry band call to Hux, because the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and so Hux and Leia join forces. The New Order shows up, and this is where in the trailer you see the traffic jam in space. The Millennium Falcon rides to the front of the pack as if they were with Hux all along somehow and knew this was going to happen. And it is Lando and Chewie at the controls, along with 3PO and R2-D2. Suddenly, as my source relates the tale, quote, "A ship comes out of hyperspace and it's fucking big. Bigger than the one in TLJ, a lot bigger. It has 2 Death Star cannons on the ship." Meanwhile, they cut back to Rey fighting the Emperor. It's just Rey at this point. They don't show what happened to Kylo Ren, which makes sense given rumors of Kylo's fate have fluctuated and they may not have been testing his death at this point. They cut back to the giant fleet of ships, and somehow now there are horses riding on the outside of the super duper Star Destroyer with Death Star grip, TM. And as it turns out, Rose is leading the Bumweiser Clydesdales in an effort to take out the Death Star cannons. At this point, a huge space battle takes place, and get ready for this, this is where the fun ends. The Millennium Falcon gets blown up. Lando, Chewie, C-3PO complete with red eyes, and R2-D2 are all dead. My source then reports that at this point people started to leave the theater, like over half. You could hear them cursing, "Fuck this is shit, to hell with this." Someone at the door was almost begging them to stay. "Please return to your seats, the show is almost over, you will not get your gift card if you leave." It was quite a mess. They cut back to the Emperor fighting Rey. He has her beaten when out of nowhere in walks Leia with a blue lightsaber, then Luke appears along with Yoda. They all fight, the Emperor kills Leia, but in the end Rey and Kylo Ren, yes, he's back at the end apparently, manage to dispatch the Emperor. Kylo Ren puts down his lightsaber, picks up Leia's lightsaber and says, "I'm sorry, Mother." Someone says something along the lines of, "You did the right thing when it came time." Luke says, "Remember the Force will be with Leia always." And Yoda says something like, "Never really gone they are." And that's when the test screening ended. So that's the account as it was shared with me. I reiterate, I have no idea if this is accurate or not, if this is a hoax or a genuine account. I merely present it for your consideration and amusement, and with the sincere hope that Rise of Skywalker will be much better than what is described here. Help us, Secret Skywalker. You're our only hope. My friends, big changes are coming to YouTube due to the situation with the FTC. These changes put my channel at risk, especially since I may have to opt out of targeted ads to protect myself against governmental fines. YouTube now has the right to terminate any channel they don't deem profitable, so I'm asking you, if you enjoy my content, please help me to stay profitable in YouTube's eyes and keep me on the air by becoming a member of my channel. Channel memberships are now available with custom emojis, badges, exclusive member live streams, and more. Just click the join coming to YouTube. I hope you will help me weather it. Angry.